Hi, I'm Dr. Richard Cherney. This is the Daily Blue, and I am here with my co-host, Jaimie Love, and our special guest, Dr. Steve Maraboli, here on Journey into Awareness on the Daily Blue.
How's it going?
Okay, Steve, how are you?
Hi,
I'm
Steven.
doing well. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's fun, and hello to everybody out there watching. Hope you're all having a great day, and buckle up. Something great's about to happen.
Tell us about that.
Listen, I think that every opportunity you get to share, to help somebody refine, improve, and enhance their life, you should take it. Take it without apology, knock it out of the park, and that's what I'm here to do. So thanks for giving me that platform today.
That's exactly what your book is about, Unapologetically You. We want to hear a little bit of a backstory about you, though, Stephen. We want to know, what was it that inspired you to get to the point where you are today? What was your aha moment, and how did you get there?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of aha moments. I think that we all know what inspires us. It's whether you are either inspired enough to take the chance to do it, or if you're broken enough to take the chance. Great things happen. Great messages happen in a mess. And for me, it was kind of something. It was kind of both in that sense. I growing up, I grew up. I had great parents. I had a good life. We struggled enough to build character, and my parents were loving. They were caring. In that realm, it was great. I had a dad who wasn't afraid of how great my mom was, and so it was really a great family setting. The problem I had was confinement, and not so much a physical confinement, as much as rules within, say, schooling and that kind of stuff. I was going home from school, and I was reading some incredible things. I was reading Plutarch's Lives. I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was reading some incredible books, but I was going to school and failing everything. I didn't like what they were telling me. I was bored.
Yes.
Who knows?
They stifled your expression.
Yes.
There's like a lack of expression. That's what I felt like in school.
I feel like I was just bored. I don't know that I was endeavoring for more. I don't know if I was even that deep about it. It was really just that I didn't like the rules. I didn't want to read of Mice and Men. I wanted to read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I didn't want to do that, and I just found more interest in the philosophy than in the rules. So I did that. I read at home, and I failed at school. And there wasn't a summer I didn't go to summer school. There wasn't a quarter or report card that wasn't filled with Fs. And yet I was reading these incredible works, and I always thought your enlightenment, your spirituality, I always thought it would hit like that moment, that whole moment that you read about. And it never really hit like that. What hit for me instead was I signed up for the military. I'm a decorated military veteran. I was military police, and I signed up when 18 years old. I signed up and signed up for the Air Force, and I was such a genius. Air Force basic training takes place in San Antonio, Texas. I signed up for July. Oh. So it's 125 degrees.
Oh no.
And you're dressed up like a tree. And basic training is every day is that monotonous, same crap, different day kind of thing. Every day is the same thing. And this one particular occasion, my aha moment, it was 125 degrees, and they were marching us on blacktop because they're really compassionate. And so we're marching along, and for whatever reason on this day, our drill instructor was furious with us, furious. And he was pacing back and forth, and he was saying, "What's wrong with y'all?" I said, "I know, get in formation." So we get in formation, and he has 60 of us in formation on the blacktop in San Antonio, Texas, Lackland Air Force Base. And we're in formation, and he's pacing back and forth, and he says, "What's wrong with y'all?" He says, "I know. Say pop." Pop. Say pop again. Pop, pop. He says, "Do you know what that is? That's the sound of your head coming out of your ass."
Oh.
And I'll tell you, that was my moment. That was my aha, my moment.
Really?
That was it. Say pop, that's the sound of your head coming out of your ass, because I realized at that moment, like all of my other reading kicked in, where I said, yes, same crap, different day is a story I'm telling myself.
That's right.
I don't have to get through these 6 weeks. Let me get through now. Let me get through today. Let me be the best version. Let me go to sleep exhausted tonight. And I followed that system. And for the first time, I finished basic training as an honor graduate. I picked up a rifle during that basic training for the first time. I grew up in Port Washington, far from anywhere, Port Washington, Long Island, far from anywhere I needed a rifle. And for the first time, I picked up a rifle during basic training. And I also received my first marksman ribbon. I went on through technical school, military police academy, all these things, honor graduate, honor graduate, honor graduate. At 18 years old, I went into college at the same time while serving. Honor graduate, 1 degree, 2 degrees. Suddenly I'm collecting degrees and merit. This is a kid who, at one point I think I failed lunch in high school.
Right,
I mean,
right.
and here I was excelling all because of that moment. Because this drill instructor on a hot day where you're scared, you're tired, you're sick of it, reminded me that sometimes the issue is you. And you need to say pop and recognize what's in front of you. And I did that day, and I do it every day since.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, have you said pop today? We'll be back here on the Daily Blue
Pop.
and Journey into Awareness with Jaimie and Richard and Dr. Steve.
Hey Larry, every week I watch your show,
As you should.
and I know so much about sports now. Thank you.
You should be learning about sports, and everybody should be watching all our other shows here on the Daily Blue.
Why are you promoting the other shows? I thought you were the king of the Daily Blue.
That's true, but I'm all about everybody. It's not always all about me.
No, it
all
really
about
is.
the team.
Every day I wake up and it says, today is all about me, Corinne. Don't
I've
lie.
heard that.
Don't lie. Tune in every week to the Daily Blue and you'll see Sports Biz with LD, and you will get a lot of information, updates in sports, and a little bit about Sports Biz.
And that's me, Larry Davis, Sports Biz with LD.
And we're back with Dr. Steve and his story about pop.
It's a story of, it's a funny story. It wasn't so funny at the time, but now that I reflect back,
Isn't
it's
that
it
funny
was
how that
funny.
we can do
yeah,
that?
It's you revise it, you clean it up, and,
Right.
and you use it
But
for
as you're
wisdom.
going through it, it's
The
it's
wound
HE
becomes
double hockey
wisdom, right?
sticks.
That's the way
Yes.
that works.
That's what you're actually talking about right here in your book, Unapologetically You. Sometimes you have to lose to win.
Yeah, I mean that's just really it. What I've learned in this life, you go through endless education. I think I went to college from 18 to 35. Endless education, and you and I we study similar fields, and they can throw degrees and titles at you. But I really realized that along that journey, I was told, first of all, you spend a fortune. And I was told by some of the most brilliant professors, some of the most brilliant people on earth, in every which way, that we really don't know what we're talking about. And so I kind of endeavored in my own thing. And let me take this, what we do know about cognitive neuroscience, what we do know about science in general, what we do know about cognition and consciousness, what we do know. Let's take that and mix it in with also things that we know that aren't so scientific, like this general human experience. And that's what I write about. Really, for me, I'm not going to argue religion with you. I'm not going to argue spirituality. I'm not going to argue any of that. For me, that's silly. That's as silly as arguing with a parent that how much convincing will it do to convince them that their child isn't beautiful? That's ridiculous. You could say, hey, listen, your child's got 7 ears. Most people have 2, and they may concede, yeah, you know what? She's got 7 ears, and she's so beautiful. You're never going to convince them. Those are agreements with reality. So I learned along the way that instead of trying to convince somebody out of their belief system, working within their belief system, within their realm. I have beliefs that maybe aren't scientifically sound, but it's my belief. And when I work within that belief system, when I work within the strengths that I have, it's what's innate. The reason you think it's because it's innate.
That's right.
Whether you argue whether it's innate because of something that happened in your childhood or is it a genetic DNA thing, there's lots of science that tells you that you are the thoughts of your ancestors. So whatever it is, it's my thoughts. Whatever tools I have. And I'm going to use those. And I'm going to respect the other person enough to help them as well. And so building my own practice and writing these books are really unapologetically used, the most recent one. There's been 3 others, and they're really just my notes. I would write notes back when pen and paper existed. I would write notes.
Oh, that's
And
dinosaur age.
I would write them during my military time when, you're most honest when you're afraid, when
Sure.
you're afraid or in trouble, right?
Yes.
And I was both during those years. And
And
so
you're
I was
hungry.
super honest. And,
Right.
and you, I don't think that, I know that before we were speaking, before camera time, and I know that both of you hold high spiritual views. And for me, you don't grow spiritual. You shrink spiritual. It's about cutting away. It's about refining. And one of the most spiritual things you can do is embrace your humanity. And so I embraced my humanity, and I embraced the truth. Not I should be fearless. No, I'm feeling fear. What is this? Not I should live in a certain way, but this is the way that I think, this is the way that I feel. And those were refined into small ideas. And writing them, what people now call quotes. And so I had friends who came over my house one day, and they said, "Oh, what's this stuff?" And they picked up my notebooks that I had been writing in for years, and I was like, "This is really good, man. You should print this somewhere." And eventually I did, and we cleaned them up because my grammar wasn't fantastic, and they became what people know as my books now, and I continue to do that. For
That's
as long as
amazing.
it's just not a pen and paper
And
anymore.
that's all you gotta do. Just
What
keep
a
writing
great
stuff
story.
It's being honest. It's being honest about life and recognizing that there's a self-help industry that's filled with nonsense. There's a spiritual book industry that's filled with nonsense. And I really, I jumped in both feet, and I know we'll go to commercial, and when we come back, I'd like to talk about that. I'd like to talk to all of you about the idea that maybe the reason some things don't seem to be fixing you is because you're not broken. Let's talk about that when we get back.
Hi everyone, I'm Corinne Caro here with Daniel M., host of Front Row on the Daily Blue. Daniel, you've been doing a great job. I love having you here at the Daily Blue. A little close right here. Tell us what you look for in a guest.
You know what? I like when people have a certain style and an opinion about fashion, fitness, grooming, anything that really is an inspiration to the viewers.
I've noticed I've never been on your show, Daniel.
Well, we're going to have to fix that.
Oh, so I do have style?
You do have style.
Winning.
Doesn't mean we can't go shopping, though.
Oh, great. See you on the Front Row every week on thedailyblue.com. Thanks so much.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen,
We're back.
with Jaimie, Richard, and Dr. Steve Maraboli. And he was just getting into the meat of the matter.
That's it. I'm getting into it. I'm getting into the idea that the reason that I continue to publish, the reason why my team continues to share our quotes, is because I want people to know that they're not broken. That you are perfectly imperfect, and that you have this idea. We're born certain ways, and we have these certain inclinations, and you have genetic dispositions, and you have all of these things. And what you also have is that every gene you have in your body, that is the genes of the survivors. Those are the victors. You are a reflection of the most winning genes of your ancestors. That's powerful. How dare you dilute yourself? How dare you question your own worth? How dare you question your own ability? How dare you question something? You are here. You are amongst the elite of all the genetics that have ever existed before. You are a compilation of the winners. How dare you live your life any other way? How dare you live an on-hold life waiting for someone to appreciate you, waiting for someone to cherish you, waiting for yourself? How dare you do that? And I'm here to tell them, no, absolutely not. Let today be your say pop moment. Let today be the day that you refine, improve, enhance your life. Let today be the day you know who's poisonous in your life. Get them out. Let today be the day you no longer ask for the ability to achieve, but instead achieve, move forward without apology.
That's what we were talking about a little bit earlier.
Yes.
Richard and I were talking about people in our lives and what to do about that. And our question was for each other that we wanted to pose to you, Stephen, was, is there is there a possibility of a person that might come along in your life that is just not fixable, just not good for you, should not be in your life?
Yeah, of course. And they're on their own journey.
And they're on their own journey.
And it's not that they're not good, they're just not good for you. And it's not good for that.
We find that sometimes that we
Yes.
feel bad about feeling bad. It's like we feel bad, like we can't help that person,
And how
we
does that
can't
work for
steer
you?
that person. It doesn't.
All right, so
It
now you're
doesn't.
already answering your own question.
Exactly.
And so we start knowing that, yes, that comes in. And we have this idea that we're the great fixers. We have this idea that I can be your medicine. But when you're poison to me, my desire to be your medicine is just as poisonous to you. How dare I tell you you're not right?
Right.
Because you're not right for me? No, thank
No.
you. Put your stuff out there and free yourself.
Okay.
Everyone's doing their thing. You are no better or worse than anybody else. It's just sometimes you don't fit. And there are people in your lives that are like medicine. So my mom, love my mom so much. When she got cancer and she was in her process of dealing with cancer, she got these drugs. Some of these drugs, they have those bottles. They were just pills. She was on pills. And these pills made her feel so good. She was in so much pain. These pills made her feel so good. And when I would go get them for her, there was all kinds of warnings on these bottles. And one of the warnings said, don't take this after you're done with this instance of feeling horrible, because then they're toxic. I thought, how interesting that when she's in this situation, these pills are exactly what she needs. But when she's out of the situation, those same pills are poison.
Interesting.
Yes.
There are people in our lives who are like that.
Right.
Yes.
Who, while we're in a certain situation, we are medicine for each other. But hang on
But
too
there's
long,
a shelf life.
and they become poisonous. And you know who they are. You
Yes.
know who they are. There are a million things like that. I was invited to speak at my elementary school. How funny is that?
Oh, that's
Aw.
wild.
And so I was invited to speak at the elementary school, and it looked the same to me, just a little smaller, right? Perceptions, everything.
Right?
And I wasn't the only one. It was like a career day kind of thing, and I was one of the speakers invited. And while there was another speaker doing his thing, I sat in the little chairs, and there were these little chairs that are like metal kind of.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we remember.
So not so friendly to my tush.
Oh, no.
And like my knees were like up here.
Yeah.
And it was just really uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, because I am the endless nerd and I'm endlessly thinking about things, I thought to myself, isn't this funny? That when I came here, this place was exactly what I needed. And these chairs were fine. But now,
Right.
I've outgrown this place, and I simply don't fit here anymore. Trying to fit here hurts. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with the chair.
No.
The chair is perfect for its design.
Right.
I just don't fit there anymore.
That's,
And there are people and life situations that equal that. And it is our desire to fit in a place we don't fit anymore that hurts us. It's our desire to want to help people who we're not designed to help that hurts us. When you free yourself of that, and that's what I was talking about shrinking spiritual, not growing spiritual, but shrinking it. When you free yourself from something you're not designed to do, your whole life gets better, and you're able to focus on the most important things, which you are designed to do.
Excellent.
have you figured out your design? Well, you have a moment. We'll be back after these messages.
Good morning, I'm Corinne Caro, and I'm here with Dominique. She is the host of our show, Art and Fashion, and thank you so much for having a show each week.
Oh, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
I love your shows. It brings in starving artists and people that have such creative ability. Thank you for doing it. What do you do when you look for a host?
I know a lot of creative people. I know people in all walks of art and fashion. So I just look for people who have done things that are different, who have found their own little path and are working on something really creative and really special.
I feel like you're creative in yourself. Tell us a little bit about your clothing store.
I have a vintage clothing store, Paper Doll Vintage vintage boutique. We specialize in clothes from the 20s through the 70s, 80s, and then we also have mid-century reproductions of like pinup style clothing of like the 40s and 50s. So it's also unique, one-of-a-kind clothing.
I love it. That's your creative. If you'd like to be on Dominique's show, please contact us at the Daily Blue, 631-761-9223.
Hey, we're back with Dr. Steve, Dr. Richard, and Jaimie Love here on Journey into Awareness on the Daily Blue.
Stephen, I just want to quote your book. Okay, this
Oh,
is
all
one
right.
of this is just such a good quote. It
And,
says,
and you keep plugging the book, and hold on one second.
Okay.
I want to make sure that they know out there that a couple of things. First, I don't write books so that you fall in love with me. I write books so that you fall in love with you. The most powerful person you'll ever know in your life, the only, even though it doesn't seem like it sometimes, the only vital and not changeable person in your life is you. You are the only person who really, you're born with you, you die with you, and all in between, it's you. You are vital and you are the only one. It doesn't seem like it sometimes. Sometimes it seems like when we lose people or people betray us or something that our lives are over. Your life isn't over. And every time that's happened to you and you thought your life was done, here you are. You were wrong. You have a history of victory. And the only person who isn't changeable, isn't exchangeable, isn't the only vital person in your life is you. Cultivate that relationship. So that's what I want when you read these books. I wanted to make you feel powerful about yourself, not me. I'm just some dude in Long Island. Think about your story and your life. And number two, we have 4 international best-selling books. I've never bought a slice of pizza with that money. 100% of that goes to our charity programs. In 40 countries, we have empowered women's centers, we have veterans programs, education programs, all 100% free, all 100% from these books.
oh, fantastic. Well, that's exactly what our show is about.
Yes.
Journey into Awareness is exactly what you just said. It's all about journeying to your own personal journey. Each
Yeah.
and every individual person on this planet, we want to really encourage people to have their own personal journey into their own personal awareness.
To wake up.
To wake up.
To who
to
you are.
pop.
To
you
pop
know?
into who you are.
Yes.
And to
Exactly.
let go of the desire to be
That's
anything
why
else.
I
That's
love
right.
this
That's
quote
right.
in your book right here. This really helped me out a lot the other day. It says, "The past will be your teacher if you learn from it, and your master if you live in it." So we're talking about the past.
Yeah, we're talking about the past, and we're talking about something more important. We're talking about whether you identify yourself with your circumstance or with your value.
Okay.
So what do
Okay.
you identify yourself with? So, excuse me for this impromptu, and I'm sorry if I'm beating up the mic a little bit, but I'm going to grab my wallet,
Okay.
and let's take a crisp $100 bill.
All right.
So we have a crisp $100 bill, and we know that the value is $100, and it's crisp and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Its
Yes.
condition is flawless.
Yes.
And if I crumple it up, and I spit on it, and I say it's fat, and I call it a bitch, and I do whatever I want, its condition has changed already. Its condition has changed. But its
Still
value
valued.
is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens in our lives is that most of us will identify with our condition,
Uh-huh.
not our value. So when I
Right.
talk to people across the world, but when I talk to people, they'll say, I'm divorced, I'm broke. And you'll hear them identify and introduce themselves as
Their
their
condition.
condition.
Uh,
As opposed to the empowered mind that finishes the sentence. I'm broke, but I'm still here. I'm divorced, but I'm worth more. And you start changing that. The empowered mind finishes a sentence. And it does not confuse its condition and its circumstance for its value. We all have that ability. We all have the ability to refine. We all have the ability to improve. And most importantly, we all have the ability to change our story. Now, it's so interesting, and you learned this, and we learned this
Yes.
through our academics. But it turns out that 100% of your life happens in your brain,
Yes.
in your mind. 100% of it. Everything you experience is good, bad, ugly, beautiful, happy, sad, in love. All of these things are experienced in your mind. They're a story. Richard's a story you're telling yourself. Jaimie's a story you're telling yourself. Steve's a story I'm telling myself. You can change that story whenever you want it's all in your head, folks. All of it. If you don't like the story, change the story. If the people around you don't let you change the story, change them. And that's how you go. You have to be unapologetic in your approach. I send out a mass email. This might be a little, it's just me, it's my personality. I'm unapologetic about cutting things out of my life. I send out a mass email, sometimes once or twice a year. My dear friends, I'm making some positive changes in my life. If you don't hear from me, you were one of them. And you just do unapologetic. There are people who, if you bring me drama, if when I look at my phone and your name's on it, I get some sort of, or I kick you to, and I don't want to hear from you, that is a flag and a message to myself to change your name. And your name will get changed on my phone to do not answer. No, I have no, just like they don't have any apology bringing me the drama, I have no problem cutting you off.
Yep.
And it's not that I hate you, it's not anything like that. It's
You're
like
protecting
cigarettes.
yourself.
Right.
I don't smoke cigarettes
Because you want to be healthy.
because I don't want to die from cigarettes. I don't hate cigarettes. I don't care that they sell cigarettes. I don't care
Yeah.
where the banners and the
And I don't
commercials.
judge people that smoke
Right.
cigarettes.
Couldn't care less. I just don't want them because they're not good
Right.
for me. And the same thing, believe it or not, the same thing with juicy, delicious cheeseburgers.
Yes.
I absolutely the opposite. I love cheeseburgers. I have a great relationship with cheeseburgers. However, I also know that I have to limit that because in the end, if I have too many, it's not good for me. And you set these gauges in your life, and you set a standard in your life. And that's what the empowered mind does. And that's what being unapologetic is recognizing your shortcomings, recognizing where you're strong, where you're weak, recognize these things, and moving forward in your life accordingly.
Well, think about that, folks, and we'll be back here on the Daily Blue.
Hello everyone, I'm Corinne Murphy-Caro, and I'm the founder of TheDailyBlue.com. The Daily Blue is all about spreading positive news about Long Islanders, and we want to hear from you. Tell us your stories. Our show hosts are waiting to hear from you. Sponsor an ad or advertise with us. Call us now, 631-761-9223.
Hi everybody, we're back here on the Daily Blue with Dr. Steve, Dr. Richard, and Jaimie Love. Steve, as you were talking in the last segment, I thought about myself. Because I was born 3 months premature, and because of the hypernoxia at birth, due to my prematurity, I developed cerebral palsy. So throughout my growing years, I didn't hit my developmental milestones like everybody else. So my mother and my parents were my link to the outside world until I could ambulate on my own. And then once I figured I was different than everybody else, because there were people that were different. I mean, I couldn't sit up, I couldn't run, I couldn't even crawl. Till after I had corrective surgeries at 4. And then it started. But I began to define myself as being different, even though part of me didn't feel that way. It was reinforced. So for a large part of my life, I was a victim of my own circumstance.
Sure.
Not necessarily of my own doing, but what I was being. The perceptions were, I was perceiving myself because of how people were perceiving me, and then I was reflecting that perception back.
Sure. Well, you were letting them write your story.
Exactly.
Well, and that's it. And you were letting them write your story, and you were letting yourself think that being different was a negative connotation in some way.
Correct.
Now, I'm happy to be different. When I was young, I wish I would fit in, and now that I'm older, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't fit in. You know why I'm glad I didn't fit in? You're a doctor. You're in the 1% in the world. You bet your ass you don't fit in. And you're writing books, and yeah, I'm glad I don't fit in. I don't want to fit in. I don't want to be defeated. I don't want to say same crap, different day, and mean it. I don't want to do that. People, there's a show, and people say, hey, have you seen this show? It's called The Walking Dead. It's amazing. I said, yes, I've seen it. I watch it all day, every day. Most people are zombies going through their day. I
Right.
don't need
Oh
a
my
camera
goodness,
and a
this is so
TV to watch this. I'm watching it all day, every day. And
Sorry,
they
Cameron.
they say, same crap, different day. It is what it is. They say these type of things, these kind of
It's true.
impotent statements. Impotent statements. Nothing is born of these statements.
Nothing's
And nothing is
created out of
born
that.
out of the mind that does that. We
Right.
need optimists, we need pessimists. There is no bad thinking that is put to work. The optimist creates the airplane, the pessimist creates the parachute. We need all that stuff.
Right.
What we don't need is impotent thinking. Same crap, different day.
Oh, well.
How dare you say same crap, different day? Today you have the opportunity to say, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you. You get the opportunity to cherish. You can give extra hugs, extra kisses. You can go running, you can go bike riding. You can say no to the cheeseburger. You can say no to the cigarette. How dare you say same crap, different day? The greatest minds in the world. I love reading Socrates, Aristotle, Marcus Aurelius. I love reading theological texts and characters. I love reading that stuff. And the greatest minds I may read didn't see today. I'm seeing it. I'm shaping it. How dare you say something like that? There's no chance. There's no way I would live in that kind of impotent type of living. So you're right. You were different and good. And when the people recognize that they are different in that way, what does that mean? What does it mean that you're different? What are you going to do with that? Why are you different? That means you have a unique purpose. Why are you trying to be something you're not? And why aren't you paying attention to what you already are? We're so ridiculous, just as a human culture in general. It's as though we are searching for light with a lit torch.
Right.
Like we're holding a lit torch and we're searching for light. And it's ridiculous because we are powerful beyond measure, and yet we limit ourselves on purpose because we believe the nonsense we may hear on media. You know, anytime you turn on a TV or radio, you're being sold something. But
That's right.
the key is they can't sell you a life vest unless they convince you you're drowning. So all day long they're trying to convince you you're drowning instead of just recognizing that you are perfectly imperfect. Take what you are, not what you're not. Take what you are and move forward without apology.
Are you ready to embrace yourselves out there? Come back on the Daily Blue and see more from Dr. Steve.
Hi, I'm Laura Sikorsky, host of Sikorsky's Thinkabouts, and I am so excited to introduce our new guest host, Kate Fox, of Sometimes Adversity Isn't.
Hi Laura, it's so nice to be speaking to you today. I am so happy to be joining the Daily Blue, bringing inspirational messages to people, starting with my journey. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I chronicled my journey through poetry. I've now published 2 books, and I am just living my dream. And there are a lot of stories out there where people have encountered breast cancer or some other kind of difficulty, and they're living their dreams because of it. And they are proof that sometimes adversity isn't.
Excellent. Can't wait to see your first show.
Thank you.
And we're back with Dr. Steve, Dr. Richard,
Did we ever leave is the question.
no,
Never really.
and Jaimie Love.
So
How you
this is a
doing?
lot of fun.
Yes,
So
is
this
great.
is your gig.
we're having a blast.
You just
man.
come out here, you hang out, you talk to people.
Yeah, we talk to really
Yes.
cool people like yourself.
This is
Yes.
a gig. Look
Yes.
at that.
It's fantastic. We're having fun. I mean, this is just really what it's all about, too. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Then you're
That's right,
ridiculous.
exactly.
Absolutely.
We interviewed somebody on our radio show, which is also journeying into awareness on Blog Talk Radio. And his name was Scudder Newton. He's a Mason and a Shriner. And he worked in a motivational speaking firm back in the 60s, around the time Zig Ziglar was starting out. And he said to me on the show, he goes, attitude is always 100. And I thought for a moment, and I said, Scudder, what do you mean? He goes, well, Richard, if you take each letter in the word attitude and you subscribe the number based on the position that it is in the alphabet,
The value
the
comes
value
out to
comes
100.
out to 100. So your attitude always has to be 100%.
Always, and it is. Your attitude and your energy is always 100%. That's never the issue. The issue is, what are you
Okay.
pointing at? It's like people who, it's
that's
like
the rub,
people
ladies and
who,
gentlemen.
who don't want change, and they say, Steve, I hate change. I don't want to deal with. I'm not
that's your
good at
attitude.
change. And here's the beautiful thing about it: is take a look of a picture of yourself 10 years ago, and now look in the mirror. We are change. You have no choice. Don't say I don't like the change. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
We are atoms and molecules in motion. You are change. Not I don't like to change, I can change. I am change. So how does your life alter? How does it change? How is it enhanced when you, instead of fighting something you are, you embrace I am change. Now my focus, instead of stopping change, my focus becomes, where is this change taking me? In what way am I changing for better? How can I learn? Where do I find the message in the mess?
Right.
How do I take the cards I've been dealt and win? And that's where life is, and that's where you find yourself living at the highest point of your ability. It's not about being anyone else. In relationships, it's not about changing them. It's not about anything. It's about revealing the greatest version of yourself. And the greatest part of that is that every single day you have the opportunity to do that.
It's just like when you have a beautiful gem that you've pulled from the earth and it looks like a rock. And then you put it in the tumbler. My mom used to do beautiful jewelry pieces. And you
Yes.
put it in the tumbler. And what that rock must be going through while it's in the tumbler, it reminds me so much of our lives
Sure.
and the struggle that we go through. But that's our own personal tumbler. And then when you pull that rock out and it becomes this beautiful polished stone, and you can see all the facets and all the beautiful sparkles that come out of that stone, and that's what our life is.
Absolutely.
It's like that tumbler.
And at any time, you're in that process. At every moment, you're in that process. So the argument can be made that you're always that beautiful sparkle.
Yeah.
You're just in the process of it.
That's right.
So when you go from that point of view, and you recognize that all you have to focus on is your waking day. That's it. You can't should have done something. You can't undo a single thing. You can't focus into a day you haven't met. What you have is now. The question isn't, can you change? The question is, what are you doing to reveal your greatest self? What steps are you taking today to bring you into your greatest point tomorrow?
Yes.
If you have goals, are you writing them down, and what are you doing today that are moving you in the direction of those goals? If you're not doing any of that, then you're existing, not living.
Yeah.
You're one of those zombies. Your light went out. Your light went out. They may not bury you for another 80 years, but you died the day you said same crap, different day. Bring yourself, resurrect your life, bring yourself back by taking actions today that are in alignment with what you want. Do it unapologetic. Get rid of the people who dull your shine, who poison your spirit. Cancel your subscription to their issues and move on in your life without apology.
I love it.
Before we go, Dr. Steve, tell us about your book that's coming out.
Yeah, what's your next project?
Our next
Yes.
book is Pretend God is Deaf, and we talk about action and movement. What does your faith look like as a verb? What does it look like? When you say your life in general? What does it
Yes.
look like as a verb? What happens when you shut your mouth and you speak with your actions? What does I love you look like? We know what it sounds like.
Right.
What does it look like? What does I'm sorry look like? What does I want better for my life look like? What does setting a standard look like? That's Pretend God is Deaf. We talk about it. We've got a bunch of books. But again, most importantly, I want people to hear this and not focus on me so much, but take the information that I'm sharing, mold it to your life. The ones that you like, the things you like, take them. The things you don't like, let them go.
Right.
And enhance your own life. Fall in love with yourself. The greatest book they'll ever read isn't mine. It's their own.
Wonderful words to live by. Dr. Steve Maraboli, you are an inspirational speaker, not a motivational speaker. Sometimes a motivational speaker, or when you go to see motivational speakers, that'll last for a couple of days and then you're right
Yeah,
back to
I
where
mean,
you
you've lost
wanted.
your
I'm not
motivation.
here to entertain. I'm not here to make anyone feel good. I'm not here to do any of that. I want to remind you that you are here today because nothing that ever went against you destroyed you like it thought it did. You have a history of victory and you are badass.
That's
I am
right.
here to remind you of that. I'm not here to give you goosebumps. I'm not here for any of that. I'm here to remind you that everyone who ever bet against you was wrong. Now you move forward knowing that without apology.
Thank you, Dr. Steve
Thank you so
Maraboli.
much for having me on. This was fun. I can't believe this is your gig. Good one.
Yes, thank you. Come back, my brother.
Thank
I
you
will.
so much.
I
Thank
love
you so
having
much.
you. Here on the Daily Blue with Dr. Steve Maraboli, Dr. Richard Cherney, and Jaimie Love. See you next time, guys. Have
Take
a
care.
wonderful day. And
And don't
remember
forget
what
to
this
listen to
man...
us on blogtalkradio.com.
Right.
Sorry, had to plug it.
Remember what this man says. He's the truth teller. For yourself. Find your truth. See you next time. Love you. Bye.
Bye.